This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, August 28, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call tonight, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about truth on this planet. Ask yourself a question during the quiet time of this meditation. How much do you trust you? In every moment, we have the golden opportunity to trust, choose trust over fear. There's a lot of us on this planet at this very moment that have chosen, of course, what? Fear. And we know that fear is just a thought. Doesn't have anything. Doesn't carry anything. Till we give it to it. Then it comes into our reality and we experience it. It's like I say a lot, you can choose to swim, right? Everybody's swimming and paddling and going somewhere. Not really sure where. I don't think they know either, but everybody's swimming and doing whatever they can to get there. There's other people that are just floating. They're just float. They're not in a hurry. They're not digging at the water, splashing, trying to get there and kicking. They're just floating. Everything comes to you. Now, obviously, you're going to act or you're not going to act on it. So if something comes to you, you may not act on it and it just passes by. But you chasing or going after something is a false reality. It shifts. You know what I mean? It shifts. Because we have been trained for thousands and thousands of years. How have we been trained? To believe the opposite of everything. Now, the way it's portrayed to us is that those who pass it to us, it's been passed to them, and so on and so forth, as we know. So we have this, some of us know, we kind of know, you're kind of there going, I'm going to float. Everything comes to you. You're the magnet, right? And it doesn't mean that you're going to act on it, but everything comes to you. You request something from the universe. You do it through your heart mind. You're in meditation. You're not disrupted. You're not distracted. You're in total peace in the moment, in the now. And you send that thought, request to the universe. And you have no doubt, no fear, nothing. None of that exists because you're in the now. And you let it go and leave it alone. You send it and that's it, in detail. And it'll come. But you have one smidgen during the process of manifestation, even a hair, it's gone. It's not coming. This is why I talk a lot about is mastering ego, mind, and thought. If we don't have our thoughts mastered, then what happens? We're going after something, right? And it doesn't mean that we just sit there, with a neon sign on us saying, oh, everything comes to me, I don't have to do anything. What it means is that it comes to you and you embrace it and take it from there. See what I mean? And you don't have any fear about it. You've embraced it, full body hug, and you're going with it. Doesn't it make sense? Now, obviously, we still experience. Just because it comes to us doesn't mean it's a cakewalk. But we experience. But see the difference between going after and running after and chasing and grabbing and pulling and just being? Because we are a natural abundance. It's not something that you acquire. We are natural wealth, natural abundance. It depends on what we focus on. It depends on what we look at, how we perceive things, how we're programmed to perceive things. See, we have this divine intelligence, which is always present in our lives. And a softness blossoms inside, and we regain our natural ability to relax fully into our body and can start enjoying every detail about our present, past, and future. See, and I say this a lot, and it's all about you. Like if you don't love yourself, and you don't like yourself, or you don't like things or certain things that you have experienced this life or done, is it gonna attract people that you want around you? No, it won't. It'll attract lower dark matter frequencies. We have a natural ability to relax fully into our body. And with deep trust, the trust that we have of ourselves, we can evolve as spiritual beings. And without it, we're lost. That's why you see what you see. It's what you're watching or observing. You see the difference? Without that deep trust, then we're wandering generalities. We just wander in life and poke here and bump there. We all can ascend to the point where we are trusting that every experience that this life brings us is absolutely divine and perfect. Even if an experience we've all experienced, may be painful. The greater, deeply eternal loving is known and felt hidden inside. A trusting heart can quietly realize how a fear is our greatest teacher. Always invoking a higher state of spiritual awareness into our future, so that we stop pretending to be these small, powerless, ego-driven beings and start living that truly amazing life we so love. We all have this choice. See, that's what's interesting. We all have the choices. We have choices all the time. It's not just this way or the highway. It's a lot of different ways. And you are the one that decides. Things are put there by us without us knowing to teach us. And that's why fear is our greatest teacher. Always invoking a higher state of spiritual awareness into our future so that we stop pretending to be these small, powerless, ego-driven beings. So we choose trust over fear. Really comes down to worshiping our spiritual nature over our ego. It's all about a deep devotion to our real selves. Devotion to oneself. And being truly dedicated to filling up our precious time on this earth with more relaxation, appreciation, and joy, instead of ego-driven anxieties, demands, and tensions. With trust as our deepest guide, we can pierce through the ego's veil of ignorance and perceive those life-challenging people and situations with the utmost patience and appreciation. Having no resistance to fear, we flow with the great spirit of life. It's like a tug of war. I think we all know what a tug of war is, right? You got a group of people on one side and another side, and there's a rope, and each group is tugging on the rope. And one of them's going to win. And sometimes it's over water. Sometimes the center is mud and water and everything. And you got one team on one side pulling, tugging. Sometimes they pull and you all of you move forward, and then you try and grimace. And you see, a lot of us make this life that way. Trusting ourselves, trusting the universe 100%. Do you trust yourself 100%? On everything across the board. Even the unknown. Or do you do that sometimes and other times not? You can see where trust is such a powerful force that it can turn the most ordinary life instantly into an extremely rich spiritual adventure. With trust, we feel safe and connected with everyone we meet. Don't you? When you're at a high trust level, do you feel uncomfortable at all? Or do you feel safe and connected with everyone you meet? And naturally, you're overflowing with an effervescence, joy in all directions. We tend to respond to others with compassion instead of criticism. Curiosity instead of impatience. And understanding instead of judgment. Every moment of this life becomes a new doorway that opens up to the highest and deepest aspects of our being. Now, some of us believe that when we become more aware how trust is a choice, some people don't believe it's a choice. It's just given to you or taken from you. We discover our power to either expand or contract our experience of this life in each moment. This power enables us to become the spiritual masters of our destiny. Spiritual masters of our destiny. Majority of people on this planet fear life. Well, we no longer fear life, yet embrace it all. As we gain more trusting momentum, we are able to remain only in the trust vibration. For longer periods of time, yeah, we're going to, we'll slip into the not trusting at times. But the more time we spend in the trust vibration, and the more we practice it, obviously, the more time we will spend there. We understand how to skyrocket our consciousness in a matter of minutes and eventually catapult our lives into the fifth dimensional realm of the divine. Because what are we doing? We're increasing our vibrational frequencies. Ask yourself in the quiet time of this meditation, what are you vibrating? Eventually, we catapult our lives in fifth dimensional realm of the divine. What do you think New Earth is? Trust is the magical gateway to our true unlimited nature as it transcends the ego and opens the door to our most enlightened state of consciousness. Great quote from Ramana. The self is like the screen and the world is like the pictures on it. You can see the picture only so long as there is a screen. But when the seer himself becomes the screen, only the self remains. How many of us in this present moment, in this now, have allowed fear to be our dominating our lives? This has been going on a long time. Way before we were around, in these bodies. And it isn't difficult. It isn't. You can let it go. Forgive yourself. Free the others. And release whatever has happened in your past. And yes, you can move on. It is not worth, for any of us, it's not worth it to hang on to any low vibration for another day. Trust that all the trauma you received in this life so far was given by God to wake you up from this deep, sleepy dream. Some would believe that we are all asleep. And everyone has been caught in some dramatic, perpetually self-wounding victim spin cycle, taught to never trust in this life, ourselves or anyone else again. So you just let it go. Remember, you are still lovable, worthy, and totally amazing exactly as you are. You just signed up for a massive class in spiritual growth and radical enlightened maturity. Whatever our past life circumstances might have been, we are always given the choice how we wish to respond to them now. Every time we choose trust over fear, everyone's heart opens a bit wider. We feel a more gentle, healing heart, warming energy coming in. And this warm, trusting heart is needed in this life. For the divine, intelligent universe, this universe, is always testing our level of awareness, checking in to see how awake we are. The test is always the same. How will we choose to respond? With more trust or fear? It might throw us a bag of super sour lemons just to see if we know how to add some playful, creative sweetness and make a pitcher of lemonade. Now, in many ways, almost a unconscious the lower dark matter survivor amount of frequencies in this planet. See, they don't, when you don't value the gift of a human incarnation, right? It's no different than like trading a huge diamond for a head of lettuce or cabbage. See, and a lot of people have said, well, what's the opposite of fear? Well, a lot of people say love. That's good, but actually it's trust. Imagine, just for a moment, that, and this is the norm right now on this planet, and you don't have any of this. You don't fear life. You don't fear living. You don't fear dying. You don't fear love. You don't fear hate. You don't fear happiness. You don't fear sadness. You don't fear bliss. You don't fear joy. You just don't fear. Is there anyone on this planet, a being in life, that doesn't fear? What do you believe? Is there any one of us on this planet that doesn't fear? Oh, yeah, some of us don't, but not across the board. We still have that little bit of ego mind slip in, and then that's where the fear comes from anyway. So what do we, what do we do? We let it go. The main reason, for this civilization species to fear is what? What do you think it is? They don't know who and what they are. Because then fear wouldn't exist. Anywhere. Wouldn't exist. Wouldn't be there. Now, it's interesting. Here are two people. They're standing. Okay? And then there's another being standing away from them. Okay, so you got two people standing here, and then the being over there. And the being has a gun. Okay? And each of these people are staring at that gun. And the ego mind goes to work overtime, and they see it. Well, you can't see it. Can you see it? You can't see the chamber. It's just a clip. And they're going to fire that gun. And that's why I talk about ego mind goes supercharge overtime. Why? The fear. Is he going to kill me? Am I going to die? What's going to happen to me if that happens? Where will I go? What will I be? What am I going to be doing? It's absolutely, you're frozen in fear. Why is that? Now the other, right? The other being next to you is pretty much same thing, different, you know. But then they say to themselves, doesn't matter. I've always known that this life is temporary anyway, can be taken away at any time. I know that I am an omnipotently powerful, immortal, supreme being that never dies. Excuse me. So, what's there to fear? It might sound strange to a lot of people, but it's part of the spiritual evolution. Do you believe that any of us should fear? Why? Now, you're looking at something that you could possibly say, well, if that forces me to leave this body, that's fine. And if it doesn't, that's fine too. But it isn't a gripping fear at all. It's an embrace. And it isn't an ego-mind embrace, see. So the one pointing the gun at you senses the fear. Like an animal will sense fear in you. Could be a bear, a wolf, a coyote, anything. It'll sense fear in you. Even if you feel that, well, you know, I'm not concerned about that. There's a little bit, and it will sense it. It'll sense fear. Why? You're giving off a vibrational frequency. That's how it senses it. And sometimes those vibrational frequencies carry a scent, which is another frequency. Part of our spiritual evolution into New Earth is that we're not going to fear things. We just won't. It's not. That's old Earth. That's three-dimensional frequencies. And we've experienced it for a long time, many lifetimes. So if you're looking at something that may end your physical body, you look at it from a whole different perspective, not from fear. You just go, okay, not an issue. But why do we have those feelings? Ego mind. Ego mind makes you feel. Remember, it's the master. Like you're going to miss something, right? How many people have you heard say, I'm not finished. I want to live longer. I'm not finished in this body yet. That they fear leaving the body because they aren't finished. At least to their perspective. I haven't done what I want to do. Well, what have you been waiting for? You've had 80 years. Why haven't you done it? 10, 20, whatever. And then you say, I don't know why I haven't. I guess things just kind of pull us in different directions and we get diverted and preoccupied with things, and at the time they seem very important and impactful, but then later on they weren't so much that. What happens when you trust somebody? How do you feel? The spiritual power we receive from the trust vibration is magna glorious. It's awesome. Total trust effortlessly engulfs all kinds of egoic negativity. That that may try to dominate any room. When someone who has 100% unshakable trust enters any community, it's so penetrating and contagious that everyone's ego eventually falls into either embarrassment or humility. And when this group of people all simultaneously begin choosing trust over fear, you can feel this giddy, enlightening joy exponentially expanding through everyone's lives. The group energy becomes more relaxed and at ease with their life, their future, and everything as it is. Why do you think, as you observe on this planet, why everything seems to be miscombobulated, misdirected, misbelief, misintention? Part of our evolution, to live a life flowing with trust, it's important to comprehend that fear is not a bad thing. It's just not something you want behind making any of your decisions. Now, if and when you make fear-based decisions in life, a lot of us have done it. I haven't come across anybody who's exempt from it. Now, when we make fear-based decisions in life, we will only create fear-based outcomes every time. Some of us will try, what? To avoid fear or attempt to delete it completely from our lives. But you know what? Yeah, sneak back in when your guard is down. Fearful thoughts are there to wake you up, to invite in your biggest self, as they are simply small contracted truths about reality. It's like tiny grains of sand that can be so meaningless and inconsequential unless one of them gets stuck in your eye. You ever had that happen? It feels like a grain of sand in your eye, and no matter what you do, it's there. Flush it, pull your eyelid open, do whatever you can to get rid of it because it's so annoying. It's amazing how something so small can create such a huge pain, isn't it? And walking the path of fear, I guarantee you that we are all living from our ego. Why? Well, it isn't that difficult as we observe, right? And walking the path of fear, we are living from our ego because the ego is always feeling either superior or inferior. We become very controlling and judgmental. Living in ego, we become narrow-minded and completely unaware that we are abiding in a very small, limiting truth. We know we are living from ego because we feel constantly unsatisfied, perpetually searching for the next fantastic thing or new pleasure to escape into. The ego doesn't know what inner peace is. Isn't that amazing? It doesn't know. It doesn't know what inner peace is. It's untrusting of new things. You ever been untrusting of something new? You're going, I don't know about this. Never heard about this before. So untrusting of new things. Sticking only to what is comfortable and often feels caught in needing to protect itself from our emotions and feelings. And the ego is always always has new ways to hide or shine because it does not trust our inner light will always be there to guide us through the darkness. And I know that's crazy for it to believe that, because the opposite is true. When we're moving because of choice into higher vibrational frequencies, okay? It's like I keep saying, it is not something out there. It's in here. When there is no desire to dominate, no desire to cling, no desire to possess, guess what happens with the ego? It starts evaporating. Quote from Osho. It's a habit, too. It's a choice that we can make. You know, any of us. In order to always choose trust over fear, we need to take a more sensitive approach to feeling into ourselves. So we can see when we are in a state of trust or fear. You can check in any moment of your day what is going on in the area around your heart and chest. If it feels light and expansive, you're in a state of trust. And if it feels tight and heavy, you're holding on to fear. The general feeling you carry in your heart doesn't ever lie. And see, what a lot of us won't do, in order for us to free ourselves from fear, is to embrace it. The reason we talk about fear is because it is so rampant on this planet and has been for a very long time. We shed it. We let go of it. See, we start to understand, okay, it's not a negative. We comprehend that fear is empty until we feel it. Okay? It is. For all of us. We have different perspectives and we have different views, and we observe different ways and watch in different situations. But it's empty until we feel it. And it's just a thought. And that's the way it is with all of our thoughts. They're empty until we fill them. Now, it's your choice, because you see those clouds floating across the blue sky? You're the blue sky. So some of us will, if not all of us at times, we'll reach out and grab one of those clouds. Looks appealing. Hey, that's one of my thoughts, even though it isn't. You make it your thought. And so you pull that cloud in and you fill it. And then it becomes a fear. Could be a fear in many different ways. And so when you fear something, you embrace it. Most people won't do that, though. They run from it. They're not going to embrace it. Could be emotional, right? Physical, or a certain perspective about out there. What happens when we embrace it and look at it? We'll find out it's just empty. Is that we're the ones creating the fear by filling that emptiness. It's like you're going to step off that step and you're going, I don't know, it doesn't look regular. It looks offset and it looks a lot deeper. I have to step, and I don't know. I'm not going to sprain my ankle, break my toe, my leg, whatever. I'm not sure, and that's a fear, right? And you're feeding the fear. Now, the other guy or gal next to you says, well, okay, well, move aside because I got to get going. And they get going. Just walk around. How did they? Wow, they didn't get hurt or anything. It's what we focus on. See, when you have a fear, you focus on the fear. And the vibrational frequency from the fear that you have filled is going to attract other things that are in that frequency. And in the quiet time of this meditation, you can liberate yourself from a fearful state. You must choose to welcome all your fears with 100% trust. Remember, everything, and I mean everything, is perfect exactly as it is. This universe never, ever, ever, ever makes mistakes. We simply choose to accept every pile of manure as a message that we need more fertilizer. Join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath out in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into the body. Focus on the breath rising and falling. Relax into your divine nature. Something so sweet and truly divine happens the very moment that you trust in the relaxation process. You will find that it is so easy to let go of everything bothering you right now and relax deeply into the very heart and soul of your being. Your essential nature is so exquisite and beautiful. If I could give you a small taste of how beautiful you truly, really are, you would not believe it. This is not about believing anything. It's all about accessing. It's all about accessing the source of your own divinity. The biggest secret to finding the source is very simple. Soften yourself. This softer, gentler you will allow you to feel the divine connection instantly. Take this time to gently and lovingly ease into your core essence beyond thoughts, words, and concepts. Be very, very, very still and know that you are always connected to the most powerful, intelligent, creative source in this entire universe. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. We'll return here tonight, a little after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our Time for Change call. And Thursday, August 29, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on out there, we're in here. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.